talking about intellectual property and copying. Oh my God. Some of the stuff we've experienced and gone through over the years, it's mind-blowing. Early on, I think it was about 2020, we even had someone, let's say, saying negative things about us on social media platforms and, lies and things like that. That was an issue, and there's laws in Thailand about that. So we had that problem. We've also had people straight up recording me. And I saw an Instagram post, this is about a year ago. I saw an Instagram reel and it had me speaking in the background. I thought, that's interesting. I've never been there. So they were just playing my recording. I've also had 5-star hotels, resorts and retreats using our image, using our photographs here to promote their new offerings. It just seems to be pretty rife in Thailand. Now, and the intellectual property thing, it's the Wim Hof Method brand, very strict with their branding, one for safety and making sure that anyone that uses it, they know what they're doing. There's a lot of people infringing on the Wim Hof Method, trademarks and copyright stuff. Luckily, we don't have to deal with that because the Wim Hof Method company deal with that, and they've got global trademark and copyright rules, for certain terms and names. But I'm surprised how many people do it and how many people do it willingly. And I'm also surprised as well that when people do learn new things from us and then they start talking about it, they never really give us a little bit of love back. They never tell us that they learned from us, which I'm not sure what that's about, because where I come from, the way I've done business all my life, I think that's a positive. If I've learned something from you, Scott, and that changed, give benefit or opened up new doorways, I would give you credit. We have clients who have turned into friends here who just chatting to them have given me insights into business or NLP stuff or some other training, and I've credited them. I think that lacks a bit over here. I'm not sure if it's just Thailand or Asia, but this crediting each other from learning things, I think it's a bit lacking. And if I was a business coming to Thailand from overseas and setting up here, I would, from the very start, make sure all the IP, trademarks and copyrights are in place, because it will happen.
Yes, it definitely will. I'm sorry you had to go through all that, because it is interesting that people, number one, they're not crediting you, but number two, they don't even know that these companies might not even have that knowledge that you have. And as you said, it's so important to have the foundational knowledge to actually go through the courses and be certified.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just a matter of, look, I took a workshop one time and now I can do it myself, or now I can promote it. Right. I think people like to take those shortcuts a little too often.
Yeah. And the thing what worries me more is things like ice bath, cold exposure and breath work do have inherent potential dangers, especially the ice bath. I know it's very popular. It does have risks. Also, the breathwork side of things has risks, especially when people are doing, so there's loads of breathwork modalities. There's so many techniques out there. Some of them can be used for trauma release. Now, if you go to one of these trauma release breathwork sessions, and that starts mobilizing some deep traumas where you need an experienced trained therapist or trauma informed person, and it's not in place, that can cause problems. So my concern is just health and safety for everyone. That's what I would love. That's what I would like to see, the standard being raised. And there are some hotels and resorts and retreats who've contacted us about helping them to raise the safety standards and understand things more. So it's not so much about copying then affects our business. It's more about copying and then putting customers and clients at risk. That's my concern more than anything. I think if more people get to feel and taste the benefits of breath work and cold exposure and the other things we do, I think that's great, as long as it's done safely and correctly. There's no difference from someone going to a private personal trainer and then learning maybe some sort of training protocol, which is really good at enhancing squat strength, leaving that and then claiming you've created it. It happens all the time in the fitness industry, nutrition as well. It's the same. So it doesn't surprise me. It just surprises me how often it's done over here. You know?
Yes.
And you probably come across this. I know I've spoke to other business owners that have had this problem for a long time. So yeah, that it is a concern, but from my point of view, it's more about health and safety for clients.
Yes. And a point that you made as well in the past off camera was about how breath work might seem innocent.
Yeah.
It might seem, people might think relaxing when they hear breath work,
Yeah.
but is the Wim Hof method, is it a relaxing breath work where you're just going to, fall asleep, or is it something different?
Yeah. So the Wim Hof method, we can talk about that. There's other breathing techniques. So the Wim Hof method breathing technique is also another stressor. So it's dosing our nervous system with a controlled amount of stress. That's why you've got to be careful using them types of breathing techniques, because it can trigger panic attacks and other deeper things. So again, and I think the whole issue, what we're trying to get people to understand is the cost of ice is so cheap in Thailand. So the cost of entry into this market is very low. Breathing is completely free, so very low cost. And I think that's why it tends to get jumped on pretty quickly, because there's no cost. Like if you had to do an ice bath and you had to buy $100,000 machine, there's going to be less people copying, right? Or every time you taught breath work, you had to buy a really expensive system, it's going to be less people. But because there's near zero cost of entry, that's why it tends to get abused a little bit.
If you enjoyed this clip and want to watch more like it, click here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.